A lot of people died in this movie, and I just wanted to give a quick rest in peace and shout out and a thank you for dying and sacrificing your body to make this movie awesome. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. Man, oh man, have I been waiting to talk about this shit. I've been waiting to see it. I saw it yesterday. I finally get a chance to talk about it on camera with all of you lovely people. John Wick Parabellum stars the one and only Keanu Reeves back in the title role of John Wick. It also brings back a lot of the other supporting characters from the other movies. Ian McShane and the bald guy from the Hotel Continental. New supporting characters that show up in this movie, namely Halle Berry, among other people. I feel like if I talk about the setup for this movie, it's going to spoil John Wick Chapter 2, and I don't know how many of you out there have actually seen John Wick Chapter 2, but I mean, screw it, I kind of have to spoil it. If you haven't seen it, sorry. End of John Wick Chapter 2, John assassinates somebody from the high table in the Continental. As a result, he is pronounced excommunicado, he is banished from the Continental, and there is a $14 million bounty that is put on his head worldwide. Now in this movie, he has to evade and fight and kill his way through a shit ton of assassins, but he also has to try to figure out a way to end this situation. Basically, the title of the movie, I guess, is derived from some kind of Latin that means, like, if you want peace, prepare for war or something. In this movie, that's all John Wick is doing. He is preparing for war, and I am preparing to talk about that war, so prepare yourself. It gives me such joy, such excitement, such incredible thrill to inform you that this movie did everything that I wanted it to do, everything that I needed it to do. It's just, it's fucking awesome. There's no other way to say it. Let's just get the elephant in the room out of the way. Keanu Reeves, man. What else can be said about Keanu? Keanu is the man. We love Keanu. Like, who doesn't like Keanu? Not only in real life does he seem like a genuine human being, like down to earth, really nice, really sweet guy. His badassery and his performance in these movies has become so iconic that's how you have to look at him now. You have to look at Keanu as one of the most iconic action heroes of our time. As far as him being a genuine human being, I would say definitely I'd let him date my daughter if I had a daughter that was of age and of consent. Otherwise, I'd recommend Keanu for sugar daddy material. As far as his portrayal of John Wick, it's just as great as it always ever was. There's something about his stoic badassery and the way that he delivers his lines, the way that he attacks the stunt work, like he does a lot of his own stunts. Scene by scene, movie by movie, it just makes you want to root for John Wick, and you're rooting for him harder than ever in this movie because the odds are stacked against him. Ian McShane as Winston, I really loved him. There were actually some surprises with his character that I was not expecting. I feel bad that I keep calling him the bald guy from the hotel. I think he's the concierge. I feel bad that I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. He was awesome too. I like the fact that they gave his character more stuff to do. To be honest, there is one supporting character that you guys probably want to hear about more than anything else. She's a new supporting character. Lots to talk about with her fine ass, and you guys know exactly who the fuck I'm talking about. So old all of a sudden. Am I the only one that actually remembers that song? Oh my god, life is passing me by. Halle Berry is such an awesome, kick-ass addition to this cast. I loved her in this movie. I loved her relationship with John Wick. There's like a love-hate kind of confrontational, begrudging respect thing going on between them. She kicks just as much ass as John Wick does. Seriously. Apparently, Halle Berry also did a lot of her own stunts in this movie, and it's just really refreshing when you see actors 110% commit to the stunt work and to the choreography. It just makes everything a little bit more authentic. There is a sequence involving her and John and some dogs. I'm not going to spoil it, but just goddamn. I want her to get her own franchise now. In fact, I demand it. I demand her and those dogs get a spin-off franchise. I will petition for this until my dying day. Until, unless it happens before that, obviously. You guys want to hear me talk about the action sequences. They're God tier. I mean, there's nothing else. I can't even really put it into words how amazing the action sequences in this movie are. In terms of the stunt work, the choreography, the way that they're filmed and helmed, the way that they're coordinated, it's just all-time great stuff. You have to put this movie and its action sequences in the pantheon of the other great action movies. Die Hard, Gladiator, Mad Max Fury Road, maybe one of the Mission Impossible movies. I don't know, Terminator 2, like Aliens. Go back and look at all the great action movies of our time. These movies collectively as a trilogy, they have to be put in that conversation now. Yes, even with the Raid films, even with Ip Man. Not only is the stunt work and the choreography on point to such a god-level degree that my jaw was dropping throughout most of the movie because of it, they're also filmed and shot so gorgeously. Beautiful wide takes, a lot of great close quarters combat coverage where you get to see everything that's happening. There's not a lot of shaky cam, there's not a lot of quick edits and cuts. Everything just flows, everything is beautiful, everything feels natural, and obviously everybody is giving 100% with the stunt work. I can't sing the praises enough of the action sequences. Like, I could spend the entire video talking about that. The world building that was set up in the first movie, that was built on in the second movie, this movie kind of just bursts into a gigantic dragon of tremendous lore and world building. This is such a fascinating, intriguing world. There's so much that they add even in this movie. So much more gets fleshed out. There are so many things that happen in this movie. You're kind of like, oh my god. That's really cool. I want to know more about that. Great cinematography. It's lush. It's beautiful. It's extremely well shot. Great shot composition. I would also shout out the fact that this movie has an underlying message in it about answering to the consequences of your actions. I like that. I mean, it is a tagline. Like, it's on the tagline for the poster or whatever, but actions have consequences, and we see a lot of those consequences play out on screen, and it's fucking awesome. In terms of issues with the movie, I only really have two gripes. For one thing, the world building is so expansive and it's so huge that there are times, especially in the second half of the movie, where it does feel a little convoluted. Not convoluted in terms of like, oh, you're gonna get confused, but just convoluted in terms of, man, there are just so many hands in the cookie jar, so many different rules and regulations that you have to keep track of, and sometimes it's easy to get lost with that. The other gripe I have is with the literal ending of the movie. I do feel like it was kind of tacked on. It felt a little bit like sequel bait, and I thought that it didn't need it. Like, it was just kind of unnecessary. By the way, as an aside, this movie has hands down the greatest kills of any of the other movies. Like, they are so creative and so inventive with the way that they decide to shoot and film these action sequences. They decide to add so much to the gun fu concept that was established in the first one. The kills, which are so innovative and so inventive, you're going to be on the edge of your seat. You're going to be like, holy shit, I never thought that you could make that way that a person die look cool. John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum is everything that I needed and wanted it to be, and it is getting the highest rating this channel can offer, Superman Prime. If you're a fan of tremendous action movies, you are doing yourself a disservice if you don't take your ass to the theater this weekend and watch John Wick. Please, I beg you. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace!